Welcome to lecture number 6 of mechatronics. We are going to see in this lecture some multiple choice question, because we know that in your examination there will be MCQs asked in the university exam. So we'll start some practice that university questions. So is unit number 1, introduction to sensor and actuator, and my name is Sachin Todkar. So first question is, a servo motor is a typical example of. The multiple choices are electronic system, mechanical system, computer system, or mechatronic system. We know that it is a simple question. Answer is mechatronic system. So this was simple, so I have not asked you, but from next lecture, next question, you can unmute yourself and answer the questions. Okay. And the second question is, the main function of actuator is. Your choices are to produce motion, detect input, detect output, or detect the state of the system. What is the answer? Can anybody tell me? The main function of actuator is. The name itself says that actuator means it will produce the motion. Okay. So actuator, its meaning is itself that it will produce some motion. So it is the answer to produce motion. Third question, the device which converts one form of energy to another form is called as transistor, transducer, PLC, or microcontroller. A device which converts one form of energy to another form. The answer is, can anybody guess?
Transducer.
Transducer, correct. The transducer is the correct answer. The next question, a sensor is an element which acquires a physical parameter into a signal, a device that converts a physical parameter into mechanical signal, an instrument that acquires input signal into many output signal, a device that senses the speed of a car. And the answer is, can you guess? The second, that is a device that converts a physical parameter into mechanical signal. Okay, so sensor will convert physical parameter into mechanical signal. Next question, that is self-generating transducers are passive, active, primary, or secondary. Self-generating itself is indicating that the transducer will be active transducer. Okay, so the question, if it is very easy, then I am going to answer. If it is a difficult one, I am not able to answer, then you are going to answer. Okay, next question. The temperature control system which maintains the temperature of room at 30 degrees Celsius when it is set is an example of. Okay, so this is just like your air conditioning system which is set at 30 degrees Celsius. When it is set, it is an example of open loop, closed loop, both of above, or none of above. Can you answer? Air conditioning system, is it open loop or closed loop? Anybody?
Closed loop.
Closed loop, because
Closed loop, sir.
correct, because
Closed loop, sir.
when it takes the signal that it is reached at 30 degree, then it will automatically off. So it is a closed loop system. In closed loop system, there is feedback system, we know. In the second chapter, we are going to see that feedback systems. Next question, the resolution of transducer depends on. The resolution of transducer depends on material of wire, length of wire, diameter of wire, or excitation voltage. So normally resolution of transducer is depending on the diameter of wire, because if diameter varies, the transducer will change its output signal. Next one, the transducers which requires an external power and their output is measure of some variation such as resistance, inductance, capacitance, etc. are called as requires external power and output is measured of some variations like resistance, inductance and capacitance. So the options are active, primary, passive or self-generating. External power required means it is a passive transducer. We have to remember that. Okay. If external power is not required, then it will be called as active transducer. Next question, an inverse transducer is a device which convert inverse transducer an electric quantity into a non-electric quantity, electric quantity into mechanical quantity, electric energy into thermal energy, or electrical energy into light energy. So this is inverse transducer. So it will convert an electric quantity into a non-electric quantity, any non-electric quantity. So this is the answer of your question. Next question. Strain gauge, LVDT and thermocouple are example of active transducers, passive transducers, analog transducers, or primary transducers. So actually this is combination. So strain gauges we know, LVDT we know, thermocouple we know. So if we'll see, these all are having analog outputs. So that's why they are called as analog transducers, that we have to remember. Next one, which of the following is a digital transducer? So we have to see its output. If output is digital, then that is digital transducer. First option is strain gauge. Second option, encoder. Third is thermistor. And fourth one is LVDT, in which we know that encoder only will have a digital output. Others will have analog outputs. That's why the digital transducer is answer is encoder. Next question. Random errors in a measurement system are due to. So this is about errors. So in measurement system, if there are random errors, then it is due to, first option is environmental changes. Second one, use of uncalibrated instrument. Third one, poor cabling practices. Or fourth one, unpredictable effects. So random error itself, the name itself suggests that it will be unpredictable error. So that's why the fourth answer, that is unpredictable effect, is correct answer for this question. Okay. So we have to choose like this. We have to use analogy. We have to use some common sense to answer the questions. Next one, for the measurement of pressure and instrument, the instrument used can be pressure measurement. Which instrument can be used? We are going to see mechanical, electromechanical, electronic, or all of these. We know that for pressure measurement we use Bourdon tube pressure gauge. It is a mechanical device. Electromechanical, that is if we use bellow pressure gauge with strain gauges on that, then it is electromechanical. Electronics also used for pressure measurement, just like strain gauges arrangement on that particular gauges. Then the answer is all of these. For pressure measurement, we can use mechanical, electromechanical, as well as electronic devices. So the answer is all of these above. The next question is, which of the following can be measured with the help of piezoelectric crystal? Piezoelectric crystal, we can measure force, velocity, sound, pressure. We have to choose correct answer. We know that with the help of piezoelectric effect, we cannot measure velocity, we cannot measure sound effect, or we cannot measure the pressure effect. The correct answer is only force. So with the help of piezoelectric crystal, we can calculate the force. Next question. Which of the following can be measured with the help of, oh sorry, I just repeated, sorry. The function of potentiometer is to convert linear motion to rotary motion, to convert rotary or linear displacement to a voltage, to convert a reciprocating motion to rotary motion, and the last, to convert rotary motion to reciprocating motion. So this is actually a very easy kind of question, because you'll get to know that potentiometer cannot convert linear motion to rotary motion. It cannot convert reciprocating motion to rotary motion. It cannot convert rotary motion to reciprocating motion. So the answer is second one, rotary or linear displacement to voltage, because potentiometer name itself says that it is potential difference measurement. So it will convert it into voltage. So the answer is to convert rotary or linear displacement to voltage. Maybe your these options will be different in your exam, but you have to remember the right answer, that is rotary or linear displacement to voltage. Uncertainty is used for analysis of multi-sample data, analysis of single sample data, analysis of both single and multi-sample data, or all of above. And the answer is analysis of multi-sample data, because in single sample data there will be no uncertainty. The single sample data will give you one reading only. So uncertainty is there when there are multi-sample data. Precision is defined as the degree of exactness for which an instrument is designed or intended to perform. Degree of accuracy for which an instrument is designed or intended to perform. The degree quality for which an instrument is designed or intended to perform, and then none of the above. Now here you'll see there is only one word changing in each statement: exactness, accuracy, or quality. We know that precise instruments are not accurate instruments. Precision and accuracy both are different properties, static properties. So in precision, all the readings will be at exactly at same point, but it may be different from the accurate readings. So the first answer, the degree of exactness, will be correct answer. Precision and accuracy, you have to read it again. The degree of exactness for which an instrument is designed or intended to perform is your correct answer. Instruments are preferred for application based on accuracy, precision, both of the above or none of above. And just now we have discussed accuracy is important as well as precision is also important. That's why your answer will be both of the above, and this is the correct answer for your question. A set of readings has a wider range and therefore it has low precision. Suppose there are some readings. I have taken a reading of with vernier caliper, and I got diameter of particular wire as 2 mm, 3 mm, 4 mm. The range is 2 to 4 mm. It is a wider range. So can we call it as low precision? Can we call it as low accuracy? Can we call it as high accuracy or high precision? Definitely it is not high accuracy or high precision. You have to check it from low precision and low accuracy, and it is called as low precision because we don't know actual accuracy is there or not. So that's why it is not precise if the readings are in wider range. Okay, so these are the only few questions I have taken. 20 questions I have taken. So if anyone is having any questions, you can ask me. I'm going to unmute. Oh, sorry.